Okay, you guys, I'm back with Rage. Look, if I hold my finger like that, he looks just like Hitler. Well, first of all, I wanted to tell you guys something funny. I don't know how far I'm going to get in this book today because I haven't read any of it. But you know what? I'm really getting sick and tired of seeing people out there wearing their mask like this, you know, with their nose hanging out. I mean, that's no protection for me. I'm an old lady, almost an old lady. I mean, you know, the reason that you're supposedly wearing a mask is to protect other people. And so I've decided that the next time I see somebody with their nose hanging out of their mask, I'm going to give them this. Ha ha! I think that's hilarious. Okay, so back to the subject at hand. Chapter 7. They started talking about Rod Rowenstein and how he was kind of a quietly powerful guy. He was pretty much an obscure attorney in Baltimore, but all of a sudden, 4 months into Trump's presidency, he is like in the middle of everything because Sessions recused himself, right? So, and now Rosenstein was in charge. So, and that Russia was the big story. Everybody knows that all the intelligence agencies had concluded that Russia had interfered, and Putin had personally directed an interference into our election, espionage at the highest level. You know, the probe was, did Russia put Trump in the White House? This is Russiagate, I guess. I don't know if they haven't said that. So, let's see. Sessions and Don McGahn had regular lunches, and that week they asked, like 4 months into Trump's presidency, they asked Rosenstein, I don't know, to join them. And so, okay, so also the Deputy Attorney General was also in charge of the FBI. So the third advantage that Rosenstein had, that because of Sessions recusing himself, and Trump, you remember that he was repeatedly raging online. I mean, God, the guy has no sense about how Sessions shouldn't have recused himself because he wouldn't have appointed him if he'd known he was going to recuse himself. Well, he appointed him, and then he kind of got in trouble with Sergei Kislyak. Remember him? So, you know, at that point, he kind of had to. The relationship between Trump and Sessions was disintegrating, and so that gives Rowenstein a foot in the door to develop a relationship with Trump. He went to Harvard. He was a law and order by the book guy. He considered himself a pre-Fox Republican, and he did not like all this hyper conservatism. He thought it was a reflex. So when he moved into the deputy's office, he saw a new flat screen TV, and he said, "I am not watching television." He unplugged it. And he took the TV out of his assistant's office and he put that in the closet. And he would like to advise the president to turn off the TV and run the country. So just a couple days earlier, Comey had briefed Rosenstein in the command center on the top secret Russia investigation. And the name of the investigation was Crossfire Hurricane. We knew that. They had 4 open cases on Trump campaign aides. It was 10 months old. The investigation was 10 months old, and it was really moving along slowly. And Comey said there's another shoe to drop, and that is whether Sessions lied. So Rosenstein said that his Sessions' discussions with Ambassador Kislyak was, you know, minimal. If that's the truth, why did Sessions recuse himself? So another guy, a senior official at National Security Division, was surprised, astonished actually is the word that Woodward used here, that Rosenstein defended Sessions so strongly. And at that point, by the end of this meeting, Rosenstein thought that Comey's investigation was not really about Trump personally, but mostly about his aides. And it was focused on what Russia had done, not what Trump had done. But I know more about Rosenstein, and I think you guys do too. So, Crossfire Hurricane was focused on what Russia had done. And the second focus was those in Trump's, on Trump's radar who had lied, okay? Or in his circle or whatever. Looks like the amount of lying was extensive. And so many things. There were so many lies. He was wondering why so many things were being hidden. Okay, so then that was the lunch where McGahn told Rosenstein that Trump was going to fire Comey. Okay, and he wasn't surprised. You know, I really wish I could read this book to you. It was more fun reading the book to you, wasn't it? Okay, not surprised. So, Sessions was the one that wanted to recruit Rosenstein. And then the administration would need a fresh start at the FBI. Okay, so 6 months after that, Rosenstein felt pretty comfortable with Trump's decision. And he had the power to fire anyone he wanted because, you know, those people operate at the pleasure of the president. That's just the way it is. Article 2 of the Constitution, and I'm going to read this word for word because it's a part of the Constitution. I don't really feel like there's a copyright issue in this since the Constitution was written over 75 years ago, which is the legal law, okay? So, the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. So, it isn't invested in the cabinet or any other department, okay? So then Sessions showed up at the lunch, and Comey was the main subject. Sessions was angry, and he was mad that Comey had leaked stuff about. Sessions was mad that Comey leaked things to the press about Sessions. Okay. And because Comey had said he thought that Sessions may have lied about something. Okay, so then Priebus comes in, and he was very jittery, and they really wanted to hurry up and get rid of Comey. How fast can we get this done? So nothing was resolved at that lunch, but by 5 p.m., Rosenstein was called back to, the same day, he was called back to the White House with Trump and Sessions, and Trump was obsessed with Comey. He said that Trump said that Comey privately told him 3 times that he was not under investigation. And he didn't know why Comey wouldn't say this on the air. If he wasn't under investigation, then why wouldn't he say something like that on the air? But you know what? We'd already been down that road with Comey and Hillary, you know, and so he didn't want to say anything. I'm sure he kind of felt like I've already said enough, right? So Trump was doing most of the talking. Rosenstein saw no coherent train of thought, which is not a big surprise to me. Nothing logical or organized. There were no alternatives or possible consequences. Rosenstein was new to the White House meetings, and so he didn't say much at this meeting. And one of the people wanted to know if Comey should be given a chance to resign voluntarily, and McGahn thought he should. Rosenstein thought that was reasonable. And Trump said he'd been working on a letter to fire him, a termination letter. So Madeline Westerhout is the lady that sits right outside the office, and so he had her bring the letter in so these guys could read it, and then so Rosenstein started to read the letter. I'm happy that I appreciate you that you told me on 3 different occasions that I was not under investigation. And that he and both political parties and the American public have lost faith in you as the director of the FBI, and you are hereby fired. And it was 4 pages of grievances. Trump can't just say, you're fired, we don't need you around here anymore. No, he has to go on and on and on in this 4-page rant. And Rosenstein said it wasn't a good idea to send it. I mean, he could easily, justifiably fire Comey, but, why put all that in writing, right? And again, about Clinton, the FBI was not supposed to issue judgments. Now, here is the thing, and this goes back to the way I think about cops and our police force, our boys in blue, or whatever you want to call them, okay? They are not the judge and jury, okay? They are to maintain law and order, yes, but they don't make the laws. They're just there to enforce the laws. That doesn't mean you get to kill somebody or, whatever. It's not your job to do that. Your job is to enforce the laws or put somebody in jail or whatever. You're not the judge and jury, okay? And that's just a way I think they should start looking at it. But, hey, I'm just one old lady, so. Okay, yeah, so they think, Rosenstein thinks that because of how the deal with the Clinton thing, the Clinton email investigation was handled, they felt like that Comey issued judgments, and that was not his role. He thought that undermined the confidence of the FBI. So Trump liked that. He said, you write that up and then I'll fire him. And all of a sudden, Trump was organized. Yeah, so now he's written up a memo, and they took it to Trump. It's early in the morning. It was really kind of shitty how he fired him, though, because he was across the country, and he had taken a government plane, I guess, to California somewhere, and Trump didn't want to let him come back in the plane. What a vindictive bastard he is, Because Rosenstein wrote until 3 a.m. on that deal. He was back in the office at 7:30. Reviewed the memo with some people, and he didn't know whether the White House was going to like it or not, because it was sympathetic to Clinton. It was, and because it painted her like Clinton was a victim of Comey, and he didn't think Trump would like that, which he probably wouldn't. Okay, so then he sent the memo to Sessions, and he assumed Trump knew how to fire people. Well, you would think that he would from The Apprentice, but no, he's a big fat coward. He always has somebody else do the dirty work. Only on TV could he say, you're fired, but not in real life. Yeah, Comey was in L.A. And he reads on the TV, Comey fired. He thought it was a joke. So he reached out to Andrew McCabe, and he was a 21-year-old FBI veteran. And then McCabe was summoned to the White House. Trump then said then he moved Andy McCabe up to acting director. He said, we're going to move up. We're going to get a permanent director, and it's going to be somebody great. It might even be you, Andy. Echoes of Watergate in Trump firing Comey. It's like the Friday Night Massacre during Watergate. Okay, so Trump has any president has the power to fire anybody, but not for corrupt or illegal purposes. So I have a feeling this is all going to come out in the wash later on, right? And then the White House put out a statement that said it was all Rosenstein's idea. Rosenstein was behind the firing, not Trump. Now, Rosenstein was like, what? He said it's not true to McGahn. He said I have to testify. I might have to resign, but I'm going to tell the truth if somebody, asks me. And then Trump wanted Rosenstein to have a press conference, and Rosenstein said no. He would have to tell the truth. So then May 10th, the next day, Andy McCabe is head of the FBI now, or acting head of the FBI. And, I read his book. He's a pretty smart guy. So then Trump calls him. McCabe also came out with a book, which I've read, and I think I just said that. It recounted the conversation when Mr. Trump called him the next day, and so the whole thing is in the book. He says Trump told him that everybody in the FBI is so happy he fired Trump, or happy he fired Comey, and that they are so happy that now Andy McCabe is the head of the FBI. And McCabe knew that wasn't true, that Comey was beloved. And the people were very upset, not delighted. They were actually in tears. And they compared this to a death in the family at the FBI. Trump just makes his shit up as he goes along. Yeah, so Trump talked about how he was so pissed off that Comey had flown home on a government plane. And McCabe had given the go-ahead to do that. And Trump's like, that's wrong. I don't approve of that. He should have found his own way home. Well, bullshit. And McCabe said it was my decision. And he wanted to know if... Trump wanted to know if Comey would be able to come in and get his personal stuff. And McCabe said no, his staff will pack his personal stuff and take them to his house. He didn't want him in the building. I mean, Comey had done nothing to him. Such a dick. And then Trump continues to rant on. He asked about McCabe's wife, who is a pediatrician. Oh, yeah, she ran for... Senate in Virginia, and so about the time that McCabe started getting into it with Trump, he said, your wife didn't vote for me, did she? God. Because no, she voted for Clinton. She ran as a Democrat, so, He thought there was some kind of conspiracy because Jill ran for Senate. And is it hard to lose? He wants to know. He wants to ask Andy, was it hard on her that she lost? Is it hard to lose? I don't know. I've never lost anything. Just wait. Just wait. McCabe said that it's tough to lose anything, and Trump said it must be hard to be a loser. He said it sounded like a sneer. And then, like all the other FBI people, like Comey, he wrote an account of this whole conversation. And it says his memos show that the Comey was convinced that Trump was dishonest, corrupt, and trying to obstruct justice. And neither Comey nor McCabe had told Rosenstein about their mistrust for Trump. So that's chapter 7. Where are we? 21. I can't get through 22. So I'm going to stop here. I'll put this up and then we'll go on to 22, okay? Okay, great. Thanks. Bye. Oh, subscribe, please. Hit the like button. You know what to do. Thanks. Bye.